Well, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers. Glad to have you checking us out today. Got a great show for you today with one of our favorite people, both on and off the golf course, and I think you're going to learn some stuff from this man. Very, very well qualified. Coming to you live, of course, from the beautiful Rigel Studios here in Las Vegas, the heart of Las Vegas. The weather here has gotten cool, back down to normal. We've got some wind gusts, some cold wind gusts. So if you don't mind going out and playing when you're layered up, which I hate, go out and play. And we hope you're getting in a lot of golf in your part of the country, and the weather is good. Let me tell you a little bit about our special guest today on the show, Monty Scheinblum. Monty is a very well-respected, much sought-after PGA golf instructor and coach, and he's in Southern California in Orange County. Monty played professionally from 93 to 96 for a while on the then Web.com tour, if you remember that, and also played in the Michelob Championship, one of my favorite events, on the PGA Tour. In 1991, Monty was runner-up in the U.S. National Long Drive Championship and came back the following year to win the event with a drive of 329 yards, but it was into a 20-mile-an-hour wind. So that's hitting it in the screws. That same year, Monty was also the world long drive champion. And Monty in today's long drive, that's got him into my question. So we're going to delve into that a little bit. I know everybody wants to hit it far. You see these guys on tour today just killing the ball. So we're gonna get some tips from Monty, and hopefully that's going to increase your distance a little bit also. Anyway, right now, my pleasure to bring on my good friend, Mr. Monty Scheinblum. And Monty, how are you? How are things in Orange County?
Doing good. We got that win too.
Oh, you do have that win, yeah. Just don't like it. Don't like it. Anyway, let me start off and ask you this. Monty, in today's long drive competition, what's more important in your mind, equipment or technique?
Well, both are very important. Having the right club for yourself, whether it's a long drive competitor, a tour player, or just your average golfer. Having the right driver for you is extremely important. To go to an extreme, if you handed me a 12-degree loft driver with a senior shaft, even though I'm a senior, I wouldn't hit the ball very far. It would spin too much and go up in the air. And vice versa, if you give a guy who swings 90 miles an hour, a triple X shaft with 7 degrees of loft, he's not going to hit it anywhere.
Right.
So, and then having proper technique is huge. I have people in my studio every day that they're losing, 10 to 15, even 20% of their club head speed because their technique is poor. And they're told it's physical limitation. Oh, well, you're old, you're inflexible, you're overweight, you sit at a desk too much. Those things are not helpful, but the biggest speed loss is poor technique.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Perfect. How many balls did you pound a week when you were getting ready for a competition?
It's really funny. Practicing for a long drive competition is very different from, getting ready for a tournament. And it was difficult because the Q school for the PGA Tour was always 2, 3, 4 weeks after the World Long Driving Championship. So I'd be pounding hundreds of balls a day quickly, to build stamina and get myself ready. And then as soon as the competition was over, I'd have to come back to the driving range and slowly groove some 60-yard wedges for a couple of days
Yeah.
just to get the golf course swing
Yeah.
back.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Monty, in my view, and I might be wrong, you're the perfect person to ask. The popularity of long drive has waned a bit. First, why do you think that is? And secondly, let me get this off of here. If you were suddenly appointed commissioner of long drive championships, what are some of the things you would do, Monty, to help increase its popularity? You know, I like that name, Commissioner Monty Scheinblum. I love that. I love that. But anyway, that's the question.
Well, to me, it's pretty simple. I mean, I don't know if the PGA Tour would do it, but the World Long Driving Championship was at its most popular when they conducted it during the week of the PGA Championship. And there were thousands and thousands of
Yeah.
people lining the fairway.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal and it was fun. You know, the way I look at it is if they just had the home run hitting contest in Iowa on a random day, nobody would really care about it.
Yeah.
But it's during All-Star weekend, so it's part of the festivities.
Right.
And I think, you know, the PGA Tour would never do this. But to me, if they had the World Long Driving Championship during the President's Cup and the Ryder Cup, I think the fans would love it, and the TV viewership and the sponsorship and the popularity would go through the roof.
Yeah. Yeah. What kind, you brought up a good point, Monty. What kind of sponsorship would you look for if you had your way to get involved with long drive? Because that's kind of narrowing it. You've got ball people, you've got club people, you got golf accessory people. You're not going to have a restaurant on there, for instance. Who would you go after?
Rent-a-car.
Okay.
Rent-a-cars. Yeah. You know, hey, you got to go for a long drive, you know, get budget Avis Rent-a-car. You
It's a
know,
hell of a good idea. That's a hell of a good idea. Really is. All right, let me switch gears a little bit. What's your opinion on plane lessons? And secondly, do you use them for ball striking purposes or on-course management purposes?
okay, so I'm going to make this answer a little more broad than the
Okay.
question that you asked. So, generally speaking, golfers don't practice correctly at all. They do it backwards quite often. There's three kinds of practice. There's movement pattern practice, where that's when you make your swing better. There's ball striking practice, where you learn how to hit the ball solid on the target that you're aiming for. And number three, there's scoring practice. That's where you learn how to play golf. And a lot of my clients will say, Monty, I'm hitting it great. I'm hitting it better than I ever have in my life, but my scores and my handicap aren't going down. I'm like, well, we need to go play.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes absolute sense. One of the things many things I like about you, you separate yourself from other instructors by your teaching philosophy, and that is you like to get to what I call the root cause of somebody's problem and not just kind of fix it and say, okay, go practice this in hopes that you're going to get better. Am I correct in that? And that to me is really important. And that's what a good top instructor such as yourself, I think, really needs to do.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, don't get me wrong. Occasionally, I have someone come in and say, look, Monty, I'm not really a golfer. I play twice a year, once at the family reunion and once at the corporate outing.
Yeah.
Give me something simple that I can do, you know.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's a place for that. But you know, there's been a lot of guesswork in golf instruction for 150 years, 200 years. And in the last 10 years, they've been able to objectively measure what happens in good golf swings, what happens in intermediate golf swings, what happens in bad golf swings, and whatnot. There shouldn't be guesswork anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that are taught, what I call the tried and true cliches that have been around forever, are just counter to what we found are happening in good golf swings. And it's why people continue to struggle. Whereas you see all of these young players coming up that have learned to become elite golfers in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That's why we're seeing so many now, because these kids are reaping the benefits of knowing what actually happens in a good golf swing. So when it's like, you know, when you hear someone say, you know, fire the body, hold the lag, and swing to right field, and shift your weight, and all of those things that have been around forever. Slow, smooth tempo is another terrible one. You know, I get hacked on social media every day for saying those things aren't true, but it's been objectively measured. Here's what happens in a good golf swing. 149 out of 150 tour players do this. 95% of scratch golfers do this, and no hackers do this. And people on social media go, how can you say that? Everyone knows that's what you're supposed to do. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's been measured. It's been measured.
Yeah.
There's no debate.
It's tried and tested. That's a very, very good point. Anyway, Monty, stay right there. We're going to break. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back, and we will have a lot more with our special guest, Mr. Monty Scheinblum. So let me get my teeth in. Stay right there. We are back right after this. Hi, I'm Dennis Silvers, host of the 19th Hole podcast for golfers. Here to tell you about a product that's improved my game, Poptical sunglasses. Unlike ordinary sunglasses, Popticals are collapsible using a unique rail system that lets you easily store them in their protective case. They offer crystal clear vision, UV protection, and are scratch resistant and water repellent. Poptical's golf-specific lenses feature purple and violet tints that reduce the grain saturation of golf courses and unleash the golfer's ability to distinguish between green gradients to identify course contours and variations on every shot, even grain patterns on the greens. Admittedly, they look great on and off the course. Plus, Popticals come with a 2-year warranty, a 30-day return policy, and make the perfect gift for the golfer in your life. Visit Popticals.com for more info. One of the perks about being in golf media is that I get to try every club ever made. Of course, like most things, some are better than others. I'm here to tell you that I have found unquestionably the absolute best performing set of irons I have ever played, and my scores show it. Let me introduce you to Grindworks, custom fitted irons that are made to fit your game. Grindworks offers players 3 different styles of irons. You can choose muscle back irons, cavity back irons, and even blades, along with some awesome wedges. And when you purchase your clubs, Grindworks lets you choose the type of shaft you want, the type grip you prefer, and even will adjust the loft and lie of your clubs if needed. That's unheard of. So what are you waiting for? Feel the power and experience and performance of these amazing clubs. Simply go to grindworksusa.com or call 281-651-4046 to order. Trust me, your handicap will love you for it. All right, I'm telling if you like wearing sunglasses when you play golf, those popsicle glasses are fantastic. Take my word for it. Uh, Look them up, go to their website, a ton of different colors, styles. You're going to like them. Anyway, back with our special guest, PGA professional Monty Scheinblum. Monty, what is your opinion about the R&A and the USGA wanting to roll back the ball in a couple of years? I think it's stupid. I still say there's going to be a lot of golfers that don't pay attention to it. They're going to play what they want and find what they want. But what's your opinion, being a world long drive champ? Because that's important to you guys too.
Well, okay. So this falls under the category, let's fix it until it's broken. Okay. Golf has never been more popular, both at the professional level and at the club level.
Right.
So let's do something to wreck it. So there's so many layers to this. Here's a perfect example. You know, when people hear when I won the long drive championship that I hit at 329, they're like, oh, that ain't nothing. You know, you'd get destroyed today. And I'm like, well, let me put it this way. That was in 1992 when I was 25 years old. When I was 45 years old, I competed with the new equipment and the new golf balls, and I hit a ball 429 yards in Mesquite, Nevada at 3,000 feet downwind. So do you think I was longer when I was 25 or when I was 45? You think I was 100 yards longer when I was 45? So getting back to the rollback of the ball, it's not going to make a difference at the professional level.
Right. I totally agree.
So look, they're angry that, you know, the equipment and everybody's hitting it so far, it's making the old courses obsolete.
Yeah.
Well, if that's true, then how come some of the highest scores of the year are shot at Riviera and Colonial, where the course is 6,900 yards?
Right. Correct.
And you know, if you roll back the ball and it goes X amount shorter, elite professionals are really not going to shoot that much higher.
No.
If they're hitting driver 9-iron into a hole versus driver pitching wedge.
Right.
Right. And number two is the biggest thing you can do to wreck a golfer's fun is to make them hit it shorter. And golfers, well, the one thing about golf, if you're playing in your local softball league, you don't get to play at Dodger Stadium. Your local basketball league isn't at the Staples, not the Crypto Center here in Los Angeles. I wanted to call it Staples.
Yeah.
You know, golf is the only sport where you can play the same equipment on the same golf courses as the pros do, and it gives you an attachment that you don't really have as a fan of other sports. And if the pros are playing a different ball, that spoils that. So on so many levels, this is wrong.
Yeah.
And okay, and here's my opinion. Jack Nicklaus is my hero. Okay. I wanted to become a professional golfer after he won the Masters in '86. I had no aspirations to go into golf. And '86, I was a freshman in college. That got me all fired up. He's my hero. He's my idol. So for me to say something negative about him is tough.
Yeah.
But I think this whole roll back the ball thing by the R&A and the USGA is to appease Jack Nicklaus, who doesn't like how far the ball goes. And if you play one of the golf courses he's designed, you'll learn that pretty quickly when, you know, once the hole gets to about 290 or 300, there's nowhere to hit it.
Yeah.
There's bunkers in the middle of the fairway. The fairway's narrowed down.
Yeah.
So to me, I think this is these two organizations bowing down to Jack. Now, if I was a member of the USGA and Jack Nicklaus came to me and said, listen, Monty, you're the head of the USGA. I want you to roll back the ball because I think this is right. I would probably be too chicken to tell him no, and I'd probably want to do it for him. So I get it. I get it. Okay. But that's my opinion of the situation. I think they're trying, Jack Nicklaus is the man, and I think they're
Yep.
trying to do that for him.
Yeah, you know what? Well said, and I agree with a large part of that. It's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. People like coming out and watching these guys hit it 320, 330. It's kind of a Walter Mitty type of thing. And the professionals say, I've trained all my life, with the muscles and into the gym, to be able to do that. And now they want to put a little roadblock in my way. And I agree with you. I don't think it's going to affect them very, very much at all. I really don't. I really don't. Monty, how about the Live Tour and all that's going on between them and the PGA Tour? You're reading recently they've come to an agreement, which I'm telling you right now is not true. And but what do you think about the Live Tour and what it's doing to golf here?
I'm going to go to a completely unrelated topic. So, for those that don't know, my dad was a Major League Baseball player for 10 years. I made the All-Star team one year, up and down a little bit, but he was in the majors.
Right.
So I'm a bit of a baseball historian. So tell me if any of this sounds familiar. Right around 1900, a little bit before 1900, a man named Van Johnson wanted to be an owner in Major League Baseball, which the National League was all that existed. And the other owners said, no, we don't want you. So then he got a bunch of other rich guys together and they formed the American League, and they started paying the players way more than the National League was. And the National League banned all of the players that went to the American League for the more money. And then there were lawsuits and all this other stuff. And finally, it was serving nobody any purpose. So they got together, they merged, and they had the World Series in 1903. A lot of these details sound pretty familiar. And that's how I see this kind of, there's going to be some sort of agreement at some point.
Right.
It's not doing anybody any good to have, all this contention. So I don't know when it'll be. I don't know who's going to be the guy that creates it. But at some point, it will be resolved. And let's face it, when more money is put into something, it gets bigger and better generally. So
true. That's I agree with you. And there's a lot of fun events that they could do together, and that's what I'm thinking about. Bring back a lot of your favorite players. It's some of the top players in the world, and they've got to get it resolved because it's just causing nothing but angst, and it's they'll get it going. Last question before we take our next short break, Monty. What is the commonality of problems that most of your students come to see you for?
There's not a commonality. It's universal. Every single student that comes to me, and like I said before, I'm not in good shape anymore. I'm not this. I work too much. This is why I'm like, no, these are all the reasons why you're not a tour player. There's one reason why you're not a better golfer, and it's your perception of what you're supposed to do is way off. People come in and they're like, I've got a slice, or, I hit a lot of fat shots or whatever. And they're like, I'm really trying to work on this to rectify that. I'm like, yeah, well, that's not going to fix your problem. Nobody good does what you're trying to do. Well, I read this and I took this lesson and they said that I should do that. And my 4-handicap brother-in-law said I should do that. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you, boss, but They measured everybody on tour. They measured a bunch of college players, bunch of top amateurs, bunch of scratches, bunch of fives. The people that do that are the 15s. Nobody good does that.
Yeah.
Really? Really? I got yes. So poor perception of what you're supposed to do, because honestly, if you went to someone, and I actually did this at one of my golf schools, I said, what are the 2, 3, 5 most important things you have to do in a golf swing in order to hit the ball well? And you hear it. Oh, you have to load the right side, and you have to, drop the club in the slot and swing to right field so you're not over the top. And you have to hold that lag and get those hands ahead of the ball for shaft lean. I'm like, yeah, nobody good does any of those things. It's been measured.
Yeah. Yeah. Great point. Great point. All right, stay right there. We're going to take another short break. And when we come back, I got a great question for you that I'm very anxious to hear your answers about. So stay with us. We will be back more with 19th Hole Podcast for golfers with our special guest, Monty Scheinblum. Stay right there. We're back right after this. The revolutionary Power to Golf Club is helping golfers around the world continue to enjoy the greatest game of all. This amazing club requires no swing to hit shots from 50 up to 225 yards. That's right, no swing to hit shots, including fades, draws, low shots, as well as high ones. One incredible club does it all. Golfers with a wide variety of physical issues, including bad backs, hips, shoulders, and more, are now back in the game golfing with friends and family. Just set the club to the desired distance, and with a push of the button, the easy-to-use Power to Golf Club launches shots down the fairway and onto the green. The Power to Golf Club has been endorsed by some of the biggest names in golf, and the number of golfers enjoying the game by use of our unique technology continues to grow. Whether a physical issue or just want to join in on the fun, the Power to Golf Club is for you. Don't be left on the sidelines. Get back in the game today. Visit at powergolfclub.com.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence (AI) has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
All right, we are back with more with our very good friend Monty Scheinblum. And Monty, I wanted to ask you about a couple things and get your opinion about. Do you think that the pre-shot routine is overinflated? And how about being in the zone? And what about, do you really think there's something like muscle memory? So I've gotten a lot of different answers from a lot of very good teaching professionals. So what is your opinion?
That routine, that's bugged me back to all the way to my playing days in the 90s and 2000s. And, I've played in 2 senior U.S. Opens the last 5 years. And the point of a pre-shot routine is to put you in the automatic zone. So you want to do the same thing every time in order to, have consistency. Okay. Well, people have taken pre-shot routine to mean let's take 5 minutes to hit the freaking golf ball. The
Right.
short, the shorter the shorter the routine, the easier it is to repeat it.
True.
And you know, slow play. The average golfer is going to mimic what the pro does, and slow play is an epidemic in pro golf. On the women's tour especially, people will say, you know, why isn't the LPGA tour more popular? One of them is they take too frickin' long to play. I mean, I love women's golf. You know, I don't care that they don't hit it as far. Watching Nelly Korda play is fantastic. She's got a great swing. But, you know, when it takes them 20, 25 minutes to play a hole, I'm like, come on, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not just, it's a problem throughout golf.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you go to Scotland, all right, there are no golf carts in Scotland. Everybody has a trolley, a push cart. And when you leave the locker room, it says members and guests are required to play in 3 hours 45. So walking with a cart, you need to finish in under 4 hours. Can you imagine that going on here?
No, I can't.
And you know, everybody's all up in arms about the aim point thing. I'm fine with it. Aim point is a legitimate thing to do at every skill level, but it doesn't take a long time to do it. Okay? People will ask me, Monty, do you know how to do aim point? I do. Can you teach me? Because I can't read greens. I can. And it literally, you're not adding time to your routine when you're reading a putt. You're eliminating the points that aren't helping you read the putt. And it actually takes less time if you do it correctly. But you know, you've seen these guys. They take 3 inches, go like this. Then they step 3 inches forward, go like this again. That's not helpful.
No.
You step where the line is. You go like this. You stand behind it. You putt the ball. It's gone in 15 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think depending on who does it, Monty, it makes some of these guys look stupid with all the gyrations they go through with aim point. Do you agree?
100%.
Yeah.
And it's not necessary. It really isn't. No, it isn't. All aim point is, it's not, you know, the gyrations as you call it, that's not necessary. All you're doing is using your feet to measure the slope of your putt.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. That doesn't take more than 5 seconds.
Right. Yeah. When did you decide, or in what point in your game, Monty, did you decide, you know what, I'm gonna really focus on long drive in my golf game? When did that happen in your career?
That was, I mean, my long drive career was actually very short. It was 4 years back in the 90s, and then 2.5 years in the 2000 teens when I became a senior at 45. When I got out of college, all of a sudden, literally out of nowhere, I started hitting the ball 50 yards farther. I mean, this is not an exaggeration. There was like a 6-8 month period where I went from hitting it, you know, 270, which is pretty long.
Yeah.
For a steel head, a wood head, a steel shaft, and a Balata golf ball, to hitting it like 350 in less than a year.
Woo. Woo.
So people started saying, Monty, you need to go compete in those long drive contests. So I said, okay. So I did. And then I stopped competing in 1993 after I had a second. I finished second, first, second, and I decided to focus more on getting on the PGA Tour. And I had some real nice success on what was then called the Nike and the Web.com.
Right.
It's now called Korn Ferry.
Right.
And then I started going through a period that got me into instruction. I kept missing at the second stage of the Q school. And I'm like, okay, I was, oh, Monty, your swing is this, your swing is that. You need to go to these famous golf coaches. And I did. And I went from being the longest hitter in the world and a couple of bad swings to get away from getting my PGA Tour card to 10 years later, I had lost 30 miles an hour at club head speed and I had trouble breaking 80 half the time.
Wow.
And I'm like, the stuff I'm being told just can't be right. So I spent 3 years. I didn't play golf for 3 years. And I just studied. I studied what little data was out at the time. I studied patterns among players at every skill levels. And the funny thing that most people don't know about me, where I find like Monty, who did you learn under? I didn't learn under anybody. I quite literally spent an entire year going to the driving range with my iPad and a tripod, and I would find the person that was most disgusted with themselves on the range, the most frustrated person. I used to be a trick shot artist. I'm really good at copying people's golf swings. And I'd spend 10 or 15, 20 minutes, a half an hour learning to copy this person's swing and produce the bad ball flight. And then I'd spend 3 hours trying to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I started to find all of the common fixes just made it worse. And I started to see patterns, and I came up with theories, and I put them on YouTube. And I was very lucky that a lot of my intuition was correct, because starting around 2010, 2012-ish, all the data started to come out. Well, we put these guys on this pressure mat. Here's what a shift actually happens in a good player. Now what we think. Wrist angles, body twists, all that stuff. The data came out, and I'm like, you know what? I came up with some good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. I was going to say to our viewers, if you have a chance, don't make it a chance, go to Facebook, go to YouTube, and find Monty. And he's got some of the most entertaining golf tips, if you want to call it that, but they're really more than that. And you'll be surprised at some of the stuff that he comes out and says. Monty, if somebody's coming down to Orange County or where you are, I think in Irvine, and wants to get some help from you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, most of my new content is going out on Instagram now. So you can PM me on Instagram.
Okay.
Or you can go to my website, rebelliongolf.com, and send me a message there.
Okay. Okay, that's good. All right, any plans for you as far as competition in the near future?
Well, I had a fairly significant injury at the end of the year last year, 2023, and I need to get in better physical condition if I want to, because I'm 57 now, and I can still swing over 120 miles an hour without much effort.
Wow. Wow. That's impressive.
But that much stress puts too much pressure on my old, out of shape body. So, and I don't want to go out there and bunt it, because it wouldn't be fun for me to go out there, swing 105 miles an hour and bunt it around, so I got to get myself in better physical condition so I can take the punishment of swinging that fast.
Yeah, and that's still impressive. Wow. I don't care at any age. That is really awesome. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for coming on. We love having you on. Always great information, and we will be in touch with you soon about that thing I was talking to you about a little bit earlier. And you get in shape, and your family get in shape, and stay well, my friend. All right, I think we might have lost Monty. Can you hear me? All right, I think we lost Monty. Anyway, we're going to step away with our last break and come back and close out the show. Be right back.
bonus of Spectrum Golf not slowing down. His third year at the PGA Show, and the cameras are still following him. This time, Whistle Sports Media and Entertainment and Fox 35's morning show in Orlando, Florida. Carter, who is on the autism spectrum, has been Sports Illustrated Sports Kid of the Year, the Masters UPS Unstoppable CEO of the Year, all while securing a spot on the Stars of the Spectrum golf team created by former NFL quarterback Doug Flutie. Carter has been telling his incredible story about why he started his line of golf apparel around the globe, and his impact is making a difference.
I know that some stuff seems hard and that it's impossible, but one of my favorite quotes is, "It seems impossible until it's done." And over the past 3 years, I never thought I would get here and do all the stuff that I'm doing right now. Be Sports Illustrated Sports Kid of the Year for 2022. Be UPS's and the Masters Unstoppable CEO. Meet Steph Curry. Meet all of these good people. Meet Ernie Els, Alex Checa. Meet all, and be speaking in schools and in front of all of you good people. And everyone that I've spoken to before. I never thought I would do any of this. When I was little, I thought I would be nothing. But now I'm actually here, and I am successful, and I am happy, and I am thriving, and I'm saying if I can do it, you guys can do it.
Carter, who loves playing golf, designed his own logo and put it on the softest material he could find because he has a skin sensitivity. So it not only looks good, but feels good too. He offers hats, belts, shirts, pants, and more. For more information, go to carterspectrumgolf.com.
Hi, I'm Dennis Silvers, but I'm not here today to talk to you about golf. I'm here to talk to you about America's favorite pastime, baseball. America's pastime is back and better than ever with a twist you won't believe. Introducing Old Timers Day, a movie coming soon to theaters near you.
It is a story detailing the greatest baseball game of all time. Two teams, one chosen by God, one chosen by Satan, with the greatest players of all time, living and deceased, playing alongside each other to determine the fate of mankind.
This book, world tour, and movie will help unify the millions of baseball fans around the country and help satisfy the millions of people that have faith and compassion for their fellow man.
Who will win this epic game? You'll have to watch to find out. Expect an unforgettable experience that will touch your heart and soul.
The Good Old Boys is brought to you by the Celestial Baseball Association, who are hitting home runs for God.
Old Timers Day, where the spirit of baseball meets the power of faith. Don't miss it. Order your copy today at dpztechnology.com/store. Get this, use promo code OTD20 for an amazing 20% off. All right, they're slowly working on that movie, Old Timers Day. It's going to be a good one, worth waiting for. Anyway, for Monty Scheinblum, I'm Dennis Silvers. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for golfers. Hope you enjoyed the show. And we're going to have another good one for you next week, of course. Be back same time, same place. So until then, if you get out and play some golf, which we hope you do, keep it in the short stuff, and we'll see you back next week. See you then, everybody. So long.